SFL Nation, and welcome back to SFL Nights with AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. So I am rolling solo tonight, no special guest hosts. Had something worked out, but it didn't quite work out the way I needed it to, so no worries. Should be back on with the guest host next week. But for my fourth and goal interview, I do have Hunter Lewis, aka Mr.Elo himself, in the building. And Hunter actually plays for the Jacksonville Kings. He is their defensive tackle. Great show. I'm hoping that this is actually going to go a little bit faster than it normally does, so we can get to the wonderful interviews. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so I chose Houston, Baltimore, Florida, Atlanta, Arizona, Charleston, Fort Worth, Tulsa, Denver, Vancouver, Portland, and Queen City last week to win their games. And let's see how it all shook out. The Queen City Corsairs took on the London Knights, and Queen City won 27-13. I was right about this game. The Corsairs had 283 yards passing, 74 yards rushing, 357 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 7 seconds with 2 mistakes. The Knights had 312 yards passing, 25 yards rushing, 337 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes and 13 seconds with only 4 mistakes. And I think that is part of the reason why Queen City lost, because they did have those 4 mistakes. They also were only held to 25 yards rushing as well. Makes a difference. Player of the game was wide receiver Deezer Powell, with 10 receptions, 115 yards, 1 touchdown, and 11.5 yards per catch. The San Diego Mavericks took on the Portland Fleet, and the Fleet won 29-7. I was right about this game. San Diego had 203 yards passing, 24 yards rushing, 227 yards total. Their time of possession was 16 minutes and 49 seconds with 5 turnovers. Portland had 163 yards passing, 147 yards rushing, 310 yards total. Their time of possession was 26 minutes and 13 seconds with only 1 mistake. And again, the turnovers was the name of the game in this one. San Diego has actually had some really great games where they were very close, but I think the turnovers, and again, only being held to 24 yards rushing, again, in comparison to the 147 yards that Portland had, did them in. Player of the game was halfback Ezekiel Love with 33 attempts, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 reception yards. The Atlanta Swarm took on the Louisiana Revolution, and the Revolution won 27-10. I was wrong about this game. Atlanta had 151 yards passing, 95 yards rushing, 246 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes and 27 seconds with only 1 mistake. Louisiana had 237 yards passing, 93 yards rushing, and 330 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes and 15 seconds with no mistakes. So Louisiana, clean game, even though Atlanta only had 1 turnover. Maybe that definitely made a difference. They held the ball pretty much even, 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Even the running game, it looks like both defenses had a fantastic job of stopping each other's running game. So BDG couldn't do as well as he normally would with only 95 yards. But it was, even Louisiana was held to 93 yards rushing. So it looks like because Louisiana had 237 yards passing to Atlanta's 151 is the reason why they won the game. Player of the game was quarterback, please forgive me if I butcher your name, Osaka Lafush, with 23 completions, 31 attempts, 237 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 128.0 quarterback rating. The St. Louis Gladiators took on the Tulsa Desperados, and St. Louis won 27-19. I was wrong about this game. St. Louis had 220 yards passing, 43 yards rushing, 263 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes and 36 seconds with one mistake. Tulsa had 235 yards passing, 101 yards rushing, 336 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes and 35 seconds with two mistakes. It was very interesting that St. Louis won this game because Tulsa did put up more running yards than they did, significantly more, and even more passing yards. But I guess, and they both held the ball for a very, very similar time. Both of them having for 21 minutes, and they were just seconds away from each other. So, but I do think that Tulsa's two mistakes was the catalyst in them losing this game. Player of the game was wide receiver Paul Delaval with 6 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown, and 15.3 yards per catch. The Houston Hyenas took on Mexico City Aztecs, and Mexico won 41-35. I was wrong about this one. On the roll with the nose. The Hyenas had 350 yards passing, but only 51 yards rushing for 401 yards total. Their time of possession was 18 minutes and 19 seconds with 3 mistakes. Mexico City had 410 yards passing, 99 yards rushing, 509 yards total. Their time of possession was 29 minutes and 17 seconds with 3 mistakes. Both teams made 3 mistakes, but Mexico City outshined the Houston Hyenas with the 410 yards passing in comparison to the 99 yards rushing. 410 and 99 for Mexico City in comparison to 51 yards for the Houston Hyenas. Over 509 yards for offense. Definitely can win your game every time. Player of the game was quarterback Matt Wilson with 15 completions out of 62 attempts, 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 10 rushing yards. Vice Wars, one of my favorite times to actually see these two teams play. The Las Vegas Fury took on the Denver Nightwings, and Denver won 31-27, and I was right about this game. Las Vegas had 280 yards passing, 153 yards rushing, and 433 yards total. Their time of possession was 17 minutes and 51 seconds with only 3 mistakes. Denver had 302 yards passing, 128 yards rushing, 430 yards total. The time of possession was 25 minutes and 43 seconds with 2 mistakes. So Denver had less mistakes by 1, and they were very, very similar in total yards. Denver had 430, Las Vegas had 433, so only 3 yards difference. But again, I think those turnovers and even holding the ball longer, that Denver was able to do more with it. That's why they won the game. And the player of the game was wide receiver Giacomo Jones. 9 receptions, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 14.7 yards per attempt. The Arizona Scorpions took on the Sioux Falls Sparrows, and Arizona won 48-20. And I was right about this game. This also helped get us into the playoffs as well, so we definitely needed that win. Arizona had 392 yards passing, 131 yards rushing, 523 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 9 seconds with 1 mistake. Sioux Falls Sparrows had 209 yards passing, 46 yards rushing, 255 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes and 6 seconds with 3 mistakes. Again, we only had 1 mistake. Sioux Falls had 3. I know that Julian Tyree was sacked. He had to have been sacked about 7 times, so those tackle for losses definitely added up. We held the ball longer, about 3 minutes, was able to capitalize off the mistakes, the turnovers, and things like that. So that's the reason why Arizona won the game. Player of the game was myself, Ashley Jackson. 21 completions out of 29 attempts, 380 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 139.7. Fantastic. The Fort Worth Toros took on the Lone Star Glory, and the Glory won 44-42. I was right about this game. The Toros had 367 yards passing, 69 yards rushing, 436 yards total. Their time of possession was 19 minutes and 27 seconds with 2 mistakes. The Glory had 352 yards passing, 87 yards rushing, 439 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 46 seconds with 1 mistake. So again, Toros had 2 mistakes. Glory had 1. Even though and the passing game was a bit different. Glory was able to score 87 in comparison to the Toros 69. But as you heard, the time of possessions, the total yards were very similar again, only off by 3 points. So again, I still think that the turnovers was the playmaker of the game. When you can capitalize off the turnovers, you can make things happen. Player of the game was quarterback Ace Finnick with 33 completions, 41 attempts, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 126.8. The Baltimore Vultures took on the DC Dragons, and Baltimore won 30-27 in a nail-biter. At the end, Jack Whitmore threw a bomb and actually helped them score those points to help them capitalize on that game. That was a very good game to watch. I was right about this game, by the way. The Vultures had 298 yards passing, 9 yards rushing, 307 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes and 56 seconds with 3 turnovers. DC had 265 yards passing, 106 yards rushing, 371 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes and 4 seconds with 2 mistakes. Now, this is a little different because Vultures did have 3 turnovers. They held the ball longer, so they were able to capitalize off the 2 mistakes that DC did have. But they were also held to 9 yards rushing. T-Roy was only held to 9 yards, which is very unusual. But they still won the game. Player of the game was quarterback Jack Whitmore, probably for that throw. 35 completions out of 52 attempts, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 78.8 quarterback rating. The Florida Storm took on the Jacksonville Kings, and Florida won 25-13. I was right about this game. Florida had 268 yards passing, 92 yards rushing, 360 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 35 seconds with only 3 mistakes. The Kings had 325 yards passing, 27 yards rushing, 352 yards total. They held the ball for 19 minutes and 16 seconds with 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers in a game against Florida. First of all, this is one of those games where it's like a classic rivalry. Just like when Las Vegas takes on Denver, this is a very classic one because when these two teams took on each other, they were named the Alaska Storm and the Tallahassee Pride when I first came into the league. And they would always seem to battle each other in the championship games for a while. And just really interesting to see how they've grown and see how the coaches have changed up the playbooks and everything. But Florida still took home that win. Player of the game was kicker Ethan Sneed with 6 field goals made out of 6 attempts and 48 long. The Los Angeles Vikings took on the Vancouver Legion, and the Legion won 31-13. I was right about this game. LA had 215 yards passing, 158 yards rushing, 373 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes and 58 seconds with 8 turnovers. The Legion had 377 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, 417 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes and 53 seconds with 3 turnovers. So clearly, guys, those turnovers, I'm not sure if they were all interceptions, maybe some fumbles mixed in there, but anytime you have 8 turnovers, unfortunately, that's going to spell a loss for you. Player of the game was running back Robert Redford with 12 attempts, 44 yards, 3 touchdowns, 47 reception yards. The Charleston Predators took on the Carolina Skyhawks, and the Predators won 19-10. I was right about this game. The Predators had 183 yards passing, 59 yards rushing, 242 yards total. Their time of possession was 25 minutes and 14 seconds with only one mistake. Carolina had 155 yards passing, 69 yards rushing, 224 yards total. Their time of possession, 18 minutes, 46 seconds with 4 mistakes. Again, Carolina with those mistakes, those 4 turnovers, even though they scored a little bit more in the rushing game, those having the ball for only 18 minutes and the 4 turnovers was probably the reason why they lost this game. Player of the game was wide receiver Buchanan Simmons with 4 receptions, 77 yards, 1 touchdown, 19.3 yards per catch. And this week, week 12, had 9 right and 3 wrong. So, hey, that was a very, 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 very good turnaround considering when I first started this season, it was not looking so good. I think I got 4 right and 8 wrong. So, finished off strong. It'll be very interesting to see how the playoffs go, which are coming up very, very soon. I think the very first playoff games will occur on this coming Wednesday. So I will actually have the outcome from those games on next week, and I'll give you a rundown on those. All right? Okay. So now as far as the playoffs, I'm going to read to you what we have on Discord. And the top 10 seeds have been confirmed and verified for the playoffs, which include Denver being 11-1, Florida at 10-2, Baltimore at 8-4, head-to-head over Vancouver. Vancouver is 8-4. Fort Worth is 8-4. Worst strength of victory amongst the tied teams. Mexico City had 8-4, non-division winner. And St. Louis is 7-5, division winner. Lone Star 7-5, head-to-head over Jacksonville. Jacksonville 7-5. Las Vegas 7-5, worst strength of victory amongst the tied teams. St. Louis will host Las Vegas Saturday, April the 17th at 4:30 Eastern, and Lone Star will host Jacksonville April 17th at 6:45 Eastern. On Next Level Sports, and Fort Worth will host Los Angeles, plus Charleston's win, plus London win, or Arizona, all scenarios, in 5 and 12 game on Sunday the 18th at 12:30 p.m. Mexico City will host either Carolina, if Carolina wins and London wins, Houston if we wins, or Arizona, Charleston win or London win on the 18th. And looks like Arizona will be either playing Mexico City or Fort Worth. So we are going to see how it shakes out for us. And again, I will have the results of that next week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my 4th and goal interviews. Coming right up. All right, everybody, welcome back to my 4th and goal interview. Tonight's guest is Mr. Elo himself, Hunter Norwood. How are you doing, Hunter?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Good to finally meet you. Well, I mean, I see you in chat. We talk all the time, but to actually see your face.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the whole Mr. Elo nickname that I got from, I believe you, offhandedly. So that was Jack. Jack is Miss Elo. So
yes. It would have been great to have Mr. and Miss Elo on, but I'm happy to get one.
Yeah, Jack's around. I could probably drag him
in,
but
no worries.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
we'll
what.
get him his own show.
There you go. I wouldn't want to take any shine away.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about yourself, Hunter. So give us your age, hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Let's see. I am 26. You said age, place I'm living? Okay. 26, I'm in Florida, Tampa specifically right now. Let's see, interesting facts. I'm really not that interesting. Let's see.
I don't know about that. You can think about something, or you at least go to your favorite NFL team.
Well, favorite NFL team is Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been we've been good twice in my lifetime, maybe 3 times.
Hey, it's growing pains.
It's growing pains. We're getting somewhere now, so hopefully. But I don't know. Let's see. I played sports since I was 5, way up until basically COVID hit, and then I kind of got stuck with that. But yeah, I played soccer once. To it. That was when I was 5, so whatever. And then I played basketball from 6 until. I played it competitively until about 18, and then I played it casually, probably around like 19 or 20. But then I did flag from like age 10 until like 19. And then when I went to college, I started playing Ultimate Frisbee competitively.
Okay. Sounds like you
I've been around.
Exactly. So you had some experience. You had some interesting
Yeah. I'm 26 and my knees are 50, so.
Listen, I heard that many times. Sports can definitely take a toll on you. Even though it's great for you to stay active, if you get hit the wrong way, you can end it. So I totally understand that.
Yeah. Oh, well, so getting hit the wrong way, let's see. My senior year of high school, I got into some garbage minutes. We're getting creamed by some team, and about a minute into my playtime, about 4th possession, I went for a loose ball, and the other team's center, he was probably about 6'5", 2 something, jumped off balance, and he landed directly onto my ankle. Well, actually, he landed directly onto my heel, which was at the time perpendicular to the court, and he crunched it over, just flat to the ground.
That's crazy. Oh my God. I want to say I've seen that happen somewhere before. I want to say Dellavedova did something like that to Al Horford of Atlanta when they were playing. I think Dellavedova was at Cleveland, and Al Horford was playing for Atlanta, and he went and did something very similar, and I was like, that looks painful.
Yeah, it was the moment it happened, I think it was a lot of what's it called, adrenaline, but it's rough to hear everything pop, because I ended up breaking my fibula. Thankfully it wasn't like compound or anything. It was just a break. But I also popped. You have 3 ligaments that hold your ankle to your foot, and I popped all 3. Yeah, so like I could, when he landed on it, I heard the initial break, and then I heard 3 like quick pops, and that was all 3 ligaments just snapping. And so I had to get surgery and get a metal plate and a bunch of screws like a week after it happened. So that was fun. I got a nice titanium plate and a big old screw in my ankle still. So I'll tell you what, if you ever get metal inside of you and you hit it against any other metallic object, very weird feeling.
Really?
Yes. If I ever hit it against like a metal bed frame or anything at work, it almost feels like it vibrates my bones. It's such an unnerving feeling.
Man, I can only imagine. Oh boy, that's a lot to go through, man. That's a lot to go through. But is there anything that, I guess that's just going to be a part of you forever, huh?
Yeah, it'll stay unless my body ever rejects it, which they said could happen. But like if it does, it's not bad. It's just like it'll start to reject it. I'll just have to like go in and they'll have to take it out. But at this point, like everything's back to where it should be. I would assume if it rejected it, though, I'm assuming that the bone's probably not as strong as like it originally was. So I'm sure they'll say like be careful. But yeah, it's always spooky playing sports now and like almost rolling my ankle or slightly rolling it and like almost spraining, because like I don't know, it's I feel like it's different if you just dealing with bones and ligaments and not a metal plate like holding a bone together, and then if you like roll it wrong. Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I'm glad that overall you're okay and you're doing really good, man. You just gotta be careful. Yeah. But so it looks like you've been around for a while, Hunter. Yeah. I'm looking at the fact you've been here since season 10.
Yeah, season 7 now in the league.
Oh, season 7?
Well, I've been here since season 10, but this is my 7th season.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And looks like you've been on the same team the whole time.
Yep, the hometown team.
Right. So I guess that's the reason why when Tallahassee shown its head, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm getting ready. Matter of fact, tell us how you even found the league. How did you even come to be on Tallahassee and all of it?
Let's see. I am still a part of another server that's so I play this video game called Rocket League, if you're familiar at all.
I am, actually.
So I play that semi-competitively in a league. It's nothing ain't crazy. It's not like for money or anything like that, but it's just a casual league. And Chris Curtis, the logo, is one of the casters. Yes, which I think I was hearing that the logo is no more, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. But Chris Curtis was the one of the broadcasters, one of the head broadcasters over at that league, and he posted about the season, I believe, 9 championship when it happened. So I said, I like football and I like simulation sports, so I'll check it out. So then I joined the Discord. I think I joined like for the season 9. I either watched the season 9 championship game or I joined like a day or two after. Looked for the teams. I saw there was one Florida team, Tallahassee. I sent in a application for wide receiver. Frank got back to me very quickly and said, hey, so we're filled up on wide receivers. But if you want to play tight end or defensive line, we can do that. And especially if you want to play defensive line, because we're going to do something crazy this season. And I really want to try to build up the defensive line. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do a D tackle. I'm 6'1", 150, and now I get to play as what am I? I think I'm like 6'3", 325. So
the heck of a difference.
Yeah. So it was fun, and he definitely did some crazy things. I think the season 10, we had all 4 guys on the defensive line, and I think cumulatively we had something in the 70s for sacks. Because I did like 18 and a half.
You did. In season 10, you did 18 sacks, you had 46 tackles, 15 assists, 28 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. Bro, you were busy.
Yeah, season 10, that 46 and 15, 61 total tackles, still a record. Still a record now because still no one touched it this season either.
Impressive.
Yeah. So, record for defensive line. But yeah, I think I did 18 and a half. I think Taquan did, I think he did around 15 or 16. Mike Johnson did, I think, around 15 or 16. And then, man, I don't know who the other, Kevin Bain. I think Kevin did like something wild, like 23 or something. So yeah, we were just demolishing people with the line.
Clearly. So out of all of your seasons that you've been here, because it looks like the website is only updated to season 14. Yes. So up to now, I'm sure you've added on to this, but you have 55 sacks, 150 tackles, 51 assists, 105 yards. So who was responsible for your build? Was it Frank, or did you guys work collectively on it? And that was one of the questions I had.
So as far as the build goes, that was a team effort of Frank, Alex Bond, and I believe Christian Christensen. But mainly Alex Bond. Alex was one of the few people. There was a few other people in the league, but Alex completely broke the season 10 progression rules. And if you look back on season 10's rules, the season 11 rules, like they changed a lot because we just season 10 we went into the playoffs. I think so. Back then there was 12 players to a roster. I believe we went to the playoffs with 11 golds. And
that's crazy.
The one silver was like on the edge, basically. So yeah, we worked it perfect. But yeah, it's been that, and honestly, at this point, it's kind of a cycle of add animations, season ends, takes them off, season starts, adds them back on, and then we'll add a little bit with the loyalty bonus and stuff like that. But I will say also, to your initial point, my career stats, I got 1 sack in week 12 this past week, which put me on a career level, 99 and a half sacks.
Crazy. 99.
I know. I'm a half off. So hopefully I'll get that at least a half in the playoffs. And I think I'm at 156 tackles for loss, which is second best. And then the 99 and a half is third best. Second is Taquan. So, we have 2 of the top 3 on the line.
Well, I will say kudos to you guys working together to make that thing work. I mean, it's like a well-oiled machine over there. I was going to say Tallahassee, but Jacksonville. I think that you guys are definitely one of the cornerstone teams, just like Florida. And I remember actually coming in season 11 and watching you guys take on Florida in the championship. And that was so fantastic to watch, because I think Andy and Cameron was on the call, so everybody was going crazy, and and then all you saw was Tal, and of course I know who you guys were. So I'm like, who the heck is Tal? Like, what's going on here? But I can see the differences from that point all the way up until what we have now, where you have 20 people on your roster versus just like the 12 that we had, and it definitely does make a difference. But tell me, how did you come up with the Elo scale ratings? Like, how is that based on real metrics, or is it something that you kind of made up? How does that go?
It's so Elo. Elo is Elo was created by a guy named Arpad Elo. So that's why if you ever see it written out, it should be capital E-L and then capital E and then lowercase L-O. It's not all caps. It's not an acronym. That's a big sticking point if you're in the know, I guess. Because most people will capitalize the whole thing like it's a proper noun, or if it stands for something or what have you, it's just the guy's last name, like most things that are created. But yeah, he created that. There's a website business called 538.com, made by, I forget the guy's name, but if you're familiar with John Boys, who did, I guess his biggest thing on YouTube was the Seattle Mariners, like the Seattle Mariners history, and he does like he'll do like, he put out like I think a 5-part series, and it was something like 6 hours or 7 hours, and he makes a bunch of charts. He does like Chart Party and stuff like that. But he's on the whole 538 team. But yeah, they took Elo and they've used it for NBA and NFL and baseball and hockey and all this. So we used, they don't release exactly what they do, but they release how it works. So initially, Ken Gossett, Kenny G, made the Elo sheets, and he had them updated through season 10, and then he started showing it to us, and then he kept it updated till about season 11. Then he got busy, I took it over, and then I started building it out. He had just the standard basic sheet, and then I got bored and wanted to try a few things and see if it worked out better. So now I have like 3 different sheets I'm running, and then I retired one sheet and I made a different sheet to see how it's running. And then Elo, then I meet Jack, and then we start doing spreads and totals, and then we start integrating Elo into it, and then it's just kind of slowly builds and builds and builds. So now that we're basically at the end of the season 12 regular season, I can say that of the 3 sheets, the best sheet is actually, I believe, the original sheet. And so what Elo will do is it'll give win probabilities for teams, and then based on the results, it'll be correct or incorrect, or sometimes it's a 50-50 push.
So do you find that you're often correct or often in the middle, or how does that go?
It can be kind of up and down. So this season, the original sheet was correctly calling games about 61% of the time, which sounds, pretty decent, especially the part that I like. It's not as high as the other seasons have been, but the part that I do like is that with home field advantage being, I believe it ended around 54% this season. It's good to see that Elo is doing better than home field advantage, just on the simple fact of, if it was doing worse, if the math was doing worse than home field was, then, you could just pick the home team to win, and you would have a better chance of being right than math is. So it's good that I have a nice healthy lead. I believe I have to see how the math shakes out, but that Elo sheet is neck and neck with SFL Nation in the Who You Got. So that's also fun to see, is
Definitely.
that the SFL Hive Mind and math are neck and neck on correctly picking games. But I mean, to put into perspective of 61%, that specific sheet, the best season was season 8. I was correctly predicting games at a 71% clip. I've had sheets, I believe, I've had a sheet do about 75. Yeah, I had one season 13 for one sheet was correct 75% of the time. And for most of the sheets, once we hit playoffs, they're usually correct about 80% of the time. So unfortunately, once we hit playoffs, I can usually look at Elo and just say, I know who's going to win. Which I have a good predictability of who's going to win, at least, which might take the fun out of things. But
well, I'll tell you what, off the air, you can tell me who's going to win, and then I will keep it to myself, and I'll let people know if you're right or not.
So here's a fun one. So on the 3 sheets, a little exclusive, of the 3 sheets, we have this Houston-London game, Houston trying to get in. One sheet has Houston, the win probability for Houston at 49%. Another one has them at, let's see, I believe it's somewhere 56%. And then a third one has them at, I believe this is also close, 51%. So it's tomorrow's game is going to be fun. With Elo, I weight all the Elos together to just do some extra stuff with that. I use it to help with the spreads and totals and such. So with the weighted averages, it's even closer. I believe the game is looking like a dead even sort of game. So it should be a fun one.
Definitely. And I think it's amazing how you've taken the time out to do this. And I'm sure it takes you hours to do, right? How long does it take you to usually calculate everything?
So the sheet does it for me. The sheet has all the formulas. I don't have to change any formulas, thankfully. I usually have to tinker a little bit every season, just because, maybe we add teams, so I got to add some teams in, or I have to, change some of the formulas so they know what, which new teams to look for. But for the most part, it's not too bad. The most work is every new season, I have to copy a new season into a new sheet or into a new tab, delete all the schedules, and then re-input all the schedules, and then home and away and all this. So that's probably the biggest time sink. But then add into the fact that I have the the public cheat sheet that's pinned in the Discord. I have a private cheat sheet for myself and Cam. So it's there is a lot of there's a good amount of work, and then putting scores, and Sunday nights is usually the big night. I'll get home from work around 11, finish inputting scores. I'll then have to update the Elo standings, and then take all the Elo standings and put them into the weight, and then update those standings, and then start looking forward to the next week. So yeah, there's definitely some work to be done, but I like the numbers, so it's not as boring, I guess.
And that's a good thing. It's more about being how you can make an impact for the league, and adding this definitely does give it a even more depth. What else do you do for the league and for your team?
That's honestly a lot of it. I brought up the cheat sheets. I do know, I don't know how much people use them or not. I know of a few owners that do look forward to them. You'll hear Cam make mention of it, but I'm usually me and Cam are messaging towards the end of seasons, doing tiebreakers, checking each other's work. I had to work a double the other day, and Cam texted me at like 4 p.m. like, hey, I need you to check the sheet. This you got to check scenario 16. It's bonkers. And that was the somehow Carolina's still in scenario. So I was like, man, I'm at work, I can't do it right now, but I'll see what I can do. But yeah, it's a lot of helping Cam. The website doesn't have strength of schedule, strength of victory, so the cheat sheet does, so people can see those sorts of things. The cheat sheet keeps up with how teams are doing against the spread. The cheat sheet keeps up with what home field advantage is at. So, that's helping keep the league updated on some miscellaneous stats or things that I find interesting. If you check into the public cheat sheet, I have a tab on there titled Miscellaneous Stats that I've just been kind of adding some stuff that I found interesting. So right now you'll see one big table that has every score this season in it, and then at the bottom of that table it breaks everything down into home field scoring averages, away team scoring averages, the difference, and then how that compares to the 15 seasons worth of data we have on All Pro, which is interesting. So All Pro home teams were scoring 28.5 points on average. Away teams were scoring 23. So there was a 5.5 point difference. You can start to see why home field advantage was like 67%. Home teams were heavily favored most games. Now, away teams are scoring like 22.83 points on average. So it's only dropped like 15.15 or something, or 0.1 on average. So away team scoring really hasn't changed, but home team scoring has fallen from like 28.5 down to 24.5. And now the difference goes from 5.5 to about 2. So now I don't know what Legend has done, but it's obviously stunted home teams somehow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's And then next to that, I have a histogram of all the totals. So you can start to see how, if you're interested, how the totals pan out. So like the average total for a game, as in like the two scores added together, is like 47.7. So you'll see on the histogram, it tends to peak right around that 46 to 48 range, and then it smooths out. But there's a lot of activity on that, in that high to mid 30 range, as opposed to previous seasons where if you were keeping tabs on the totals, I was usually doing 51.5 to 59.5. And then maybe if I said it's going to be a low scoring game, maybe we do low 40s or something. But now it's, I'm doing about 46.5 or 47.5. And if I feel like maybe it's a high scoring game, I might go with a 54. But now it's, if I feel like it's going to be a low scoring game, I got to go with like a 31 or a 33 or a 34 or something. Because there's been a lot of mid 30 games, like Jacksonville played Florida this past week. It was 25-13, 38 points. I think I set that total to 54.5.
Right.
Because we're both teams that score, and we're both teams that allow scoring. We're basically neck and neck. We were both averaging about 27 points. We were both giving up about 24, 22. So it seemed on paper to be a high scoring game. Now, Christian threw 4 interceptions. So maybe if you start to take some interceptions away, maybe you add some points on the board, Florida has to catch up, then you start to see that score start to rise. But
that's interesting, and I've always wondered exactly how it works. Because I know you were on Dave's show for a little while ago when you first kind of came out with that, and I didn't really have a proper understanding of it. But now that I'm sitting down and actually listening to how you explain it, yeah, makes sense. And I think that it is great for Cam to utilize what you're doing, and even on the website, even in how he's determining certain things too. So your work is not wasted, because even though you are, you say it's not so much work, it sounds like it is, especially when you're probably getting those initial sheets together. I'm like, oh, those formulas, oh no. So, but that is awesome. And I'm hoping to see the Elo stats around for a very, very, very long time, because
we're trying to get some help over at Jack's Data. Actually, I've been trying to push it. I've been trying to put some feelers out. I've gotten sparse feedback, but I've told the guys that I'm going to be doing a whole off-season campaign for it. But we are looking to expand Jack's Data into a SFL sort of brand. It's very laid back. It's not where I'm not pushing hard deadlines. It's just going to be, do you like stats? Or, do you like content? Do you like making content? Do you like running Twitter accounts? Do you like, making graphics for, this sort of thing? And just kind of bringing minds together. I'm already talking with some guys. I'm talking with a guy from Denver, and he's already, he's been doing some things in his free time that I've been wanting to do, but I just don't have the time for.
Sure, I know who it is. I have a good guess, rather.
Yeah. Honestly, he DM'd me, and I was like, oh, okay. It's just a name I don't see around too much. So
can I ask, or do you want to kind of keep it under wraps?
You can shoot a guess and I won't say anything.
Rosca Santagria?
It's actually not Rosca.
Oh, because that's Mr. Stats Man, so I figured.
Yeah. You'd think. I thought I'd be getting some stats people in here, saying, "Oh yeah, I'd be interested in something like that." But it's been a slow going, but it's okay. I think people are just either A, don't have the time, or B, are confused or not entirely sure what I'm asking. But yeah, I've been just trying to pushing it where I can and talking to people, and just, again, it's just a laid back gathering of the minds. You know, I have ideas that I don't have time for. I'm sure other people have ideas that they don't have time for. But if I have multiple people that are interested in those ideas that they didn't know about before, we can start to push some things forward. I also want to get someone that likes writing, because I don't, and I really don't want to keep writing articles. I will write a Twitter status, but
that's about it. That's all you want to do.
I got about 4 or 5 weeks in, and I ran out of good ideas, and then I just it was fun for about 5 weeks, and then right around week 6 or 7, it started feeling like work, and that was that.
Well, yeah, and I could definitely understand that.
But
I mean,
and then life kind of started again.
Right. And then with you working and things like that, you just want to make sure that you have time for everything. So I totally get that. And I'll do my best to help promote it for you too. Try to get you some help over there. Like, I've been trying to get people to join the stats team, the broadcasting team.
Mm-hmm.
Been trying to kind of, announce it every chance I get. So hopefully we'll be able to get some people to kind of help in all aspects, especially if you have the time to do it. A couple more questions for you. So how has the COVID affected you? Like, how is dealing with COVID? Were you isolated? How did you deal with it?
I guess I don't go out much as it is already. So as far as like not being able to go out as much, it wasn't too bad. I think honestly what was worse was I couldn't play sports. Because you have things, I'm sure you have to do to relieve stress. So like I like to play video games, or I like honestly at this point work on my spreadsheets. But playing sport, you can release some frustration, you can release some stress, you can get some and some social interaction. So I play sports for at this point like 1.5 years now, and then COVID hit, so it's been interesting, but other than that, I did actually catch mid-December. It was not bad. I hate to say it, but it really wasn't that bad.
Okay.
I got a headache, and I like stuffy. It was like a bad head cold.
Yeah, well, you're one of the blessings then.
Yeah.
And they did say that it was going to affect people different ways. Some people, if you had underlying health issues, it was going to make those issues worse. Some people just, sneezing, so It sounds like you came out on the lighter end of that. A few people in the SFL were saying that they had it, and, they were knocked out. So it's.
Yeah, I will say though, so it lasted for about the full 2 weeks, week and a half. It was gone. And then, and I've seen that this can happen to people. I just broke one day, and I don't know. Honestly, I thought I was over the sickness. So breaking out in hives, I thought maybe came in contact weird. So I was taking Benadryl, and then I was sleeping in my bed, and I was like, maybe I have like bed bugs or something. But I was checked the bed was fine, and I was just, the hives were so bad that I'd already done my 2 weeks, so I went back to work, and I was standing on my feet, and my feet were breaking out, and my ankles were breaking out, and they were swelling, and I was wearing obviously socks and shoes, so my socks were compressing my ankles, and I was getting to the end of my shifts, and my feet were falling asleep. And I remember telling my boss, I was like, hey man, my ankle feels like it's cut off from circulation, so if I fall, like, just, I'm okay. It's just, it's just something's going on here.
Right.
So that was probably about another 2 weeks of hives. Yeah,
I had no idea. I think I may have heard that hives may occur, but I didn't know it was like that either. So, man, you've been through a lot, but I'm glad that you made it. I'm glad that you're here with us still, man, because things could have worked out a whole lot differently, as you well know. So. But, all right, Hunter, one more question for you, dear. So what are some goals that you have that you would like to accomplish within 1 year's time in the SFL and in life?
Ooh, okay. Well, in the SFL, I do have one that's easy. I want to get a ring. Gotta get the ring.
Yeah, y'all been close a few times.
We've been close way too many times. We might get it this year. Who knows? Especially with home field as it is, it's really anyone's game. But yeah, I want to get the ring. Maybe if I finally get the ring, I can just retire or something. Who knows?
I know, right?
Something. I at least I could just. I'm just a player, and watching games gives me way too much anxiety. So I can't even imagine what Frank goes through on a week-to-week basis. But so yeah, winning the championship. I think I want is, God, within a year though, because so like me and Jack want to get our spreads and totals off the ground, and we want to start beta testing it. So, I mean, it would be a lofty goal, but within a year, if we could get a beta test off the ground and get some guys together and see how things go, that'd be really cool. And that would be taking actual money for actual spreads with a select group of people. We won't be getting too crazy with it, but we'd see how it goes. We'd be playing with Jack's money, so I don't care too much. But yeah, in life, within a year, I do want to get back into school. I've been kind of on and off, busy with work, trying to pay bills, staying alive. So I would like to get back into school. I got enough credits that I could probably finish an AA within a year and a half if I worked hard at it. So, within a year, if I'm, a semester away, that'd be great.
What are you studying?
So the current plan is I want to get a associates in business, and then use that to, I'd be getting that at the local community, and then I would use that to get in University of South Florida and go for a accounting. But numbers, and I'm not sure. I think the AA is definitely the correct course. I am going to assess the situation. Currently, so like I'm working in the restaurant industry.
Okay, what are you doing?
It's real fun.
Are you a server?
No, I'm a is crew member, but I was working at Pizza Hut for 6 years. For five of those years, I was shift management. So I'm at a new joint. It's a new concept that's branching out back, but they're only in Florida right now. They're only really in the Tampa area. So I'm going to be getting into shift management soon with them. And since they're brand new, like we have 2 locations in the local, and then we have 2 brick and mortar locations. But they're going to start expanding. So there's going to be ample opportunity to make a jump to assistant general. So if within a year I have good opportunity for that, or I know that years down the line, I've talked to the president of international sales, comes in all the time, and I said move out to Cape Canaveral area. He goes, yeah, we'll probably get out there in like years. And that's where I grew up. So, I mean, hey, if I'm still working with the company, they want me there, and I'm still in Tampa, I'll say, hey, I'll go. Just tell me, going Vieira Rock. I'll just move out because it's my hometown. So it's no biggie, So
exactly.
I guess in a year, I hope to be close to my associates and moving up within the company. And said, assessing the situation. If I can leverage associates in business to get a better position or better pay, maybe I'll just stick with it, not pursue the accounting degree. Because I know that I know the AGMs make 40 to 50 over there, and I know GMs make about 65. So I mean, yeah, accounting would most likely get me more, but it's I don't know. You weigh the options, see where I'm at in my life, see if I'm still having fun with it.
Well, I will say, whatever you do decide to do, I want to make sure that you're happy. Be happy doing it, man, because you only get one life. And whether it's the accounting, whether it's going to management, you do what you feel is best for you and your family ultimately. And that's going to bring you some kind of happiness. That's all.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Thank you, Hunter, for being on the show. It's a pleasure to get to know you. And this will not be your last time on the show. I would like to have you on sometime very soon, probably after everything, the season dies down and everything. We'll talk about some other things, but it's definitely a pleasure. But I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or a simple shout out. Right now, Hunter, the floor is yours.
All right, I got a simple shout out then. Shout out Mikey Dynamite.
Oh, man. Oh, Mikey Dynamite?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a while.
It's Jackson will love that one. But anyway. But yeah, let me I'm gonna get on. What's that?
I said you started something already.
Oh, I know I did. I'm gonna get on Jack's ass to get on here.
Okay, that would be fantastic. So, I might be looking for somebody next week, so that'll work.
He's gotta do it. Perfect. He he only works about 2 hours out of the month, so he's got the time.
Oh yeah, come on. You know, he can help me do some other things too. Since he only got 2 hours. Shoot, I've been needing some help around here. But yeah, man, thank you so much for being on. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the field. And hey, you know, we made the playoffs, so hopefully we'll make some noise. Maybe we'll see you in the championship. You never know.
Hey, now that'd be something right there.
Yeah. And I gotta watch out for you too with all these, what is it? And all these interceptions and pass deflections and tackles and bro. All right, you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Right, y'all, that is it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, y'all. Special thanks goes out to Hunter for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Great to get to know, and looking forward to having y'all on again soon. And as well, I'm looking forward to bringing you guys another great podcast next week. But until then, y'all, stay safe, treat each other well. Striker